forward the purpose of personal evolution and the evolution of mankind. That's what we do. We ain't doing no little thing, we're doing a big thing. And so for the next 20 minutes to 25 minutes is a free public lecture. Everybody welcome, all TikTok, Instagram, and Facebooks and things, YouTubes. We're gonna read from a book called Breathing Truth. It's $10. I'm starting to get tagged on it. That means people are buying it. So if you buy it, tag me on it, okay? It's $10, and it's the IMC philosophy. You wanna know what IMC is? I'm about to tell you what it is. All right, let's go to number 240. There's a little quotes, okay? Each quote worth $1 billion. Let's go. You must learn to stand tall by yourself and not by the effort of others. You must be strong by yourself and not because of the efforts of others. You must be wise and get rid of your ignorance by yourself and not by the efforts of others. You must find your own salvation, which is to save your soul. Okay? Your soul's fucked, you know? You must find your own salvation and happiness for yourself and not by the efforts of others. All that you will do, you must do because of your own efforts and not by the efforts of others. And when you do this, others around you shall also stand tall and be strong and be wise and get rid of their ignorance and find their own salvation as well. And this way, and in this way, you are all connected to each other, each person finding their salvation. And yet, you're also separate from each other. See how that works? People do not care, 241, people do not care so much what you say. They care what you mean. And there is where we're going to do our entrance into our Stargate today, okay? Because the one thing that God blessed me with was communication. Can you tell by now if you're brand new? If this is the first time you're watching YouTube and you're flipping through and you're going through whatever you're seeing, when you come across a face like this that speaks like this, you would have to stop at some point, right? There's something about the way this man communicates that gets his point across. And communication is also the other side. I can also hear you. If you've ever been around somebody who understands you, gets you, somebody who sees you past the flaws and into you. You can't be your flaws because those are your flaws. What's a flaw? Something that's wrong with something, right? We know a flaw is something that's wrong with something. So we can't be our flaws. And so if you have something that's wrong with you, right, then that means underneath that wrong idea that you have is a right idea that you have. And that's why you know there's something wrong with you. Now, this is really deep. Pay attention, okay? Listen. If I know the way I'm acting is incorrect because inside of me something says that's not right, okay, then that means right must be here in order to notice the difference between these two. This is important to know because when you interact with the world, the society in current time has a way of interacting with you to not see you, right? To see the flaws. Now, the flaws in different religions could be demons. In psychology, it could be your subconscious patterns. In Scientology, it's your reactive mind. And a lot of different terms. In Buddhism, it's illusion. Maya, it's called Maya. Don't name your daughter Maya. It's called Maya. Okay? And all of them are saying the same thing, that there's a purity, there's a goodness, that on top of which bad things are added. Or, another way to say it, there's a straightness that is made crooked through obstacles. But there must be an order so that we can see disorder. If we have no idea of what order looks like, we would never know that that was disorder. It would just be nothing. But when you look and you complain about anything about your life, another way to say it is in that part of your life, there's disorder or unbalance or suppression or a curse or confusion. Now, those are all words, right? And they don't mean the same thing, but they all point to the same exact GPS. Something inside of you is not right, and you are aware of it. Now, as long as you know that there's something there that you're not satisfied with, that tells you exactly where today's workbook for you is from God. You're supposed to work on yourself today. And where does one work on oneself? The areas where one needs work. The areas that you don't need work, the areas that you're strong in, those are the things that you go and you share with other people. So if I have a potato farm and I make tons of potatoes, but I make one tomato, red one, I can't go share the tomato because I only have one, and then who knows how good it is anyways. But if I have a lot of potatoes, I can give those, right? So I'm going to go work on the tomato plant so I can cultivate it, and that's how one works on oneself. One cultivates. The way you do a plant, you feed it, you trim it, you watch it, you make sure that nothing kills it. You cultivate until it grows and it gives you fruit. And inside, what you do is you cultivate your values. Things like honesty, truth, freedom, strength, confidence, loyalty, respect, honor, integrity, family. These things we all value. That's how we know they're valuable. Like, let's say I'm born in Iran, I'm Persian, right? I take a plane, I go from Iran to England, which is what happened to me as a kid, right? Whether you're in Iran or you're in England, the people you deal with want to deal with honest people, people with integrity, loyalty. They both want that. Now, they're not giving that, but they both want that. If we go from England to Turkey, let's say, which is where I went, or one was first, the other was second. In Turkey, they don't speak English and they don't speak Farsi. They speak Turkish. They also value the same things. And then we go from there to Syria, they value the same thing. And then we came United States, Nebraska, Nebraska to California, California to Nevada. And guess what? Everywhere I went, it seemed like people who were honest, had integrity, had confidence, people valued them. Confidence, not arrogance, right? Loyalty, not dependency. They're not the same thing. If I'm depending on you, I'm not loyal to you. If there's nothing that you have that affects me in any way, and I'm loyal to you, I'm really loyal to you. Because I'm not doing it in case I don't do it, something happens to me. I don't consider that real loyalty, right? So everywhere you go, there's these qualities that you have to cultivate, right? And then as you cultivate those qualities, there's weeds that grow in the plants, and there's other insects that come and eat the plant, and you have to what? You have to get rid of those things, and you have to battle those things. You got to make sure you keep it safe. Now, inside, as you cultivate respect and honor and truth and loyalty and strength, bravery, those qualities, right, that everybody wants. As you cultivate this, things come up that try to kill it. And just like the plant, it's always going to be something on the outside that kills that plant. It's going to be an insect, it's going to be a weed, it's going to be something that attacks it, right? So as I'm cultivating my goodness, something will attack. And it looks like it's inside, but it's really from the outside. It's an idea that comes in. An idea enters your atmosphere, your planet, right? Instead of the meteor going past it or burning in the atmosphere, it hits, boom. And when it hits, it's going to damage. That's a bad idea that you just took on and you didn't let it fly past the atmosphere. You could look at it and admire it, boom, there it goes. Or it could hit. And if it hits, it's going to have an impact. Now, once it hits, you're going to have to deal with it there. So once an idea enters, you have to deal with it there. This is where you're going to have to know yourself really well. You have to know your land. You have to know what it was like before the meteor hit. You have to know the soil. The more you know, the quicker you can deal with that thing. Eventually, you can make a monument out of it. Everybody comes and visits that area of your life with you that one day a meteor crashed and killed all the dinosaurs. So I like to take people through my life and take them through areas and say, during this time, a goddamn meteor hit, and it was just like me and my family on a little ship like Noah, and we sailed. And we started again. And I say, here now, let's go visit. Look at what's happened now. Life has grown there, new life. I've made a garden out of it. It ended up being a great soil. Or I like to travel somewhere and say, this is where I had the biggest battle of my life. It was like Battle of Gettysburg, I remember in history. Some big battle where a lot of people died. That's all I know about it. Right?
I grew up on the East Coast, so I've been there.
You know that place.
I've been there. Like, walking on that road.
You are Gettysburg.
Stand somewhere where 200,000 men died fighting.
That. 200,000 men. That's what I was looking for. A place where 200,000 men died. Somewhere in me, Arash Dibazar, in the last 47 years, more than 200,000 men have died. There's been a genocide inside of me before. However, I survived. And after I survived, I adapted myself. After I adapted, I thrived. That's a code for IMC. It comes from the Red Dragon. Now, we go back and I show you the Gettysburg. I say, look, this land is the most fertile land because of all the death that was in it. But if you come at a certain time of night, when a certain song is playing, and in a certain mood, I guarantee you'll see the ghosts of the past still walking here. In fact, I go there on purpose many nights. On spooky nights, I like to go visit my past where there was a lot of deaths and sit there and watch those ghosts. They don't affect me anymore, but it's a nice place to visit. And it's as within, so without. And every battle that's ever been fought outside has been fought on the inside. The fake flu virus that shut down half the world, there's been a fake flu virus in me that shut down half my world. It was nothing. It was a lie. In fact, a lie entered my world, and just like that lie, I went and I tried to handle it, and I went to the hospital, and it almost killed me. Or I tried to vaccinate myself against that lie, but that lie was a lie in the first place, so I entered another lie, and the vaccination began to kill me. And I died, and I was reborn. And in all these places, I either died and was reborn, or I didn't die, and I changed. And change is being reborn. So I either died on accident, or I died on purpose. But death only meant life. And life only meant death. And that became a cycle. And so when you try to hold on to something, then you don't allow the yin and the yang to move forward like this. And you don't evolve. And IMC Nation is personal evolution. And I sit here today, more evolved than yesterday, and I'll see you tomorrow again. For every 24 hours that you experience, whoever you is, I experience lifetime after a lifetime after a lifetime. And it's visible. Because through communication, we understand other people. And I know how to communicate. And if you know how to communicate, then you can get along in life. And if you don't know how to communicate, you won't get along in life. I don't care what you have going on. That's all I need to see on an interview. I'll tell you the condition of that human being based on the way they communicate. I don't mean to have good words and they can read prompters. I don't mean that. I mean, for example, the last Vice President, Kamala Harris, look at how she communicates. And she makes your skin crawl. Everyone knows that. That tells you that even though she can stand there with her law degrees and speak, that she doesn't know how to communicate. That tells you that person is in hell. For sure. Communication is getting your point across and understood. And people wanting to fucking hear you. Okay? And that's all part of the communication. It's showing up to hear me speak. Your life is important. This is your life. You're not doing charity work for me. You're doing something for you. Next class is for adult men. We're going to get into the mating ritual because I've decoded that. Okay? I've got that shit on lock, nigga. Come and get it. All right? Just for men. See you in the next class. IMC Nation. Be the best. Fuck the rest.